I'm back. Okay, so now we're looking at youth in politics. So 2019, the momentum is building, gathering storm, and the Nigerian youth appears set to do political battle with the elderly to, what is it?
Grab.
Okay,
oh, wrestle. Okay.
Okay, is it grab or wrestle?
Well, it's wrestling.
Okay.
Wrestle
power from the old at all levels, from the local government to the state to the presidency. They are ready and they are good to go. Young leaders have made a strong call for a more sustainable strategy for democratic inclusion of young people in Nigeria's current political process and the structure ahead of 2019 general elections. As part of efforts to allow the youth to participate in the elections, Muhammadu Buhari signed the Not Too Young to Run bill into law. That's no longer news. What's news is, what are the young people doing as they prepare for the next elections? I've met a couple of them who are vying for different positions. I met one who's vying for president. I met one who's vying for Senate. I met a couple, quite a number. And we have in the studio to help us understand all of this. Yes, they are in politics. What do they have? What's their strategy? What do they have to offer to help us understand all of this? We have one who is vying for the House of Representatives, Abdullahi Abdul Majid. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
He's
looking very regal already.
I'm telling you. Okay, also here is a political strategist, Chidi Lemchi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And from our Abuja studio, we have a policy analyst who's also a young man, Anyekan Nyaitok. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so now Nigerian youth in politics. Let me start with you, Anyekan, who happens to be my namesake. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
I mean, let me relish the fun of having my namesake.
He's amused.
He's amused. So, Anyekan, when we say Nigerian youth in politics, do you see, let's just say youth. Let's say the Nigerian young Nigerians in politics. Do you see them making an impact? Do you see this drive to wrestle power from the older generation as a worthy drive?
In 2019.
Okay. So do I see it as a worthy drive? Great question. I do see it as a worthy drive. That's number one. But perhaps more importantly, I don't see any other option. I don't see any other alternative. We are at a crossroads in our history as a nation where we have to decide for ourselves if the past and the analysis of the past and the effects of the past will continue to dictate where we go, as a people, or if we are going to take responsibility and be able to attach some level of vigor, some level of vision to push this country in the direction that we want to go. So is it a worthy cause? Yes, but it's also probably the only alternative that is sustainable. People say that you cannot do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. If you are going to keep electing the same kinds of people or people who are from the same era, the same mindset, the same thinking, the same perspective, then you're going to keep having the same results. The only thing you do is you change the input to affect the output. That's the way I see it. So it is a worthy cause, but it's also the only viable alternative if we are to have outcomes that are substantially different from what we have right now.
Abdul Majid, you are on this course. I mean, you're in the fray, you and many others. What you've seen in the terrain, would you say is encouraging?
Well, I'd like to say first and foremost that getting into the real political space of, active partisan politics is really challenging. It's something that is quite different from the kind of activism that a lot of us have been doing over time.
I mean, you used to be the president of the
National Youth Council of Nigeria, and then we've done a whole lot of activism. And it's expected, that was the kind of impression we had at that point in time, that the transition was going to be quite easier than we're finding it to be. There's a lot that we had actually concluded by virtue of the speeches and the submissions that we make, all over the country. When we were talking about youth rights and politics and the fact that our time had come, and the fact that this country had been doing the same thing over time, and we've entrusted the affairs of this country into the hands of the old elites for far too long, and we're not getting the right kind of results. And so we decided it was time for young people, to stand up and take our destinies into our hands. But we realize that there's a prerequisite, and that prerequisite is that of active partisan political participation. And you know, that's not going to happen overnight. You know, for example, I've been in my constituency now back to back, you know, for more than 3 months. And I can tell you, it's an Herculean challenge, but it is something that can be done. I'm excited, I'm happy. Because in some areas, there were certain things we thought were going to be, you know, far more easier. They're more difficult. There's some areas that we thought were quite insurmountable challenges, you know, but with what we're seeing on the ground. And then with the reality, you know, of the moment in this country, you know, those things are proving to be surmountable. Like the people are tired, I can assure you, you know, of the kind of governance they're getting from the old stock. So in some places where we've been told, you know, you've got to be a money bag, you have to throw money around, you know, in some of those places people tell you outrightly that it's not about money. Prove to us that when you guys get there, it's going to be a different ballgame. And I can tell you for free that in some areas when you go and tell people, people were like, look, we can even take a risk. We can give you guys 4 years. We've been giving these guys four years, you know, for God knows when. So what exactly are we going to lose if we decide to go with a new crop of leaders and then we'll give you 4 years? We want to believe that even if it goes south, it would not be worse than what we've been going through.
Okay, Chidi, now, you say you'll tell me for free. I wasn't going to pay you to tell me the rest. Chidi, now he said, in some places they've said, we can take a risk and give it to you. I mean, we've given it to them, and what did they do with it? You're a young man as well, but do you see any strategy? What do you think, have you seen anything that the young Nigerians who want to come into office have to offer the citizens of this country, have to offer the nation? Do you see, he said, results. What results are Nigerians looking for? What results are young Nigerians looking for?
Okay, I'd like to start by differing a little bit from what he said. You know, let's look at the past. We had young people who ran this nation. And up to 1999, we also had young people who became governors, who became commissioners. At the end of the day,
Even heads of state.
and even heads of state.
Yakubu Gowon was 32, going on
And
33.
wasn't married. So we had all that. My challenge is not about the age. My challenge is about new visions. What is the person bringing to the table? What is the person offering? And I can tell you for free, sitting down here, that I've not seen anything different from what we've been seeing in the last couple of years from the people who have been leading us. We're looking for new visions. We're looking for new ideas. We're looking for something that gingers the blood of Nigerians, that would make us step out there and say, okay, that's the person we want to vote for. He's a young man, he's a young woman, he has, you know, so and so to offer. You know, he has A, B, C, D to offer us. But I've not seen that. And it's a problem for me, sitting down here. I've also not seen strategy. I'm looking at young people. I mean, young people should be building alliances now. But I sit down where, you know, from where I'm sitting, I'm not seeing that alliance. And it's a problem for me.
No, staying with you, do you think that there's enough leadership training in schools, for instance? And I know that, I mean, I do appreciate that civic studies have been reintroduced into schools, but I don't think that they had the benefit of civic studies in schools to know your duty to the state and the state's duty to you and stuff like that, which you learn.
I did civics.
So